everyone. My name is Saurabh Kumar. I'm a senior manager of data science at Kraft Heinz Foods Company. Today, I'll be talking about enhancing marketing campaigns with natural language processing. I'll talk about a case study on data-driven decision making in consumer analytics. I would like to first read out a disclaimer. As a speaker at this conference, I would like to mention that the ideas and opinions I present are solely my own and are not supported or endorsed by my employer, Kraft Heinz Foods Company, in any capacity. My participation in this event is strictly as an individual, and I do not represent my employer in this event. So I'd first like to introduce natural language processing and how is it applicable in marketing, right? So what is natural language processing and why is it so important? What is the significance of natural language processing? Natural language processing is a branch of computer science that deals with interaction between computers and human beings, or text generated by human beings through natural language, right? Its significance in marketing lies in its ability to process and analyze large amounts of text data, providing valuable insights into consumer behavior and preferences. The goal of this presentation today is to show you how integrating advanced machine learning techniques with marketing analytics can help optimize marketing strategies and improve the return on investment of marketing investments. So first of all, why NLP for marketing, right? NLP can provide deep consumer insights by analyzing the emotion and behavior expressed by the customers, by the consumers in the text data, which often does not get analyzed, does not get synthesized, and lies sitting in data warehouses. The NLP enables personalization by tailoring the marketing messages to the preferences of individuals. And it helps in improving the efficiency of marketing teams and business teams by automating and scaling the analysis of vast datasets. So the case study that I'll be talking about today, I'll be exploring real-world examples of how natural language processing has been applied to marketing through sentiment analysis, topic modeling, and entity recognition. These case studies will highlight practical applications and the tangible results that were achieved as a result of this work. So in terms of the methodologies that I'll be discussing today for applying natural language processing, I'll be talking about sentiment analysis, where we are identifying and analyzing the emotions of the consumers expressed through their response to survey questions or their response to open-ended questions as part of a survey or their reviews. And for an example, we can look at the surveys themselves or analyze the comments that consumers make when we run ads on social media and analyze the mentions in the social media data through other means, for example, the company page, etc. Secondly, I'll be talking about topic modeling. So how can you discover hidden themes in textual data to segment the consumers based on themes that they are consistently trying to voice in their text messages, in their comments associated with a specific brand. So how can we uncover the topics that are trending in customer reviews? Finally, we'll be talking about entity recognition, extracting specific entries from text. For example, how do you identify product mentions and competitors, and what are consumers saying about the competitors of a specific brand? So I'll be talking about sentiment analysis in action. And as a case study, I would like to improve customer satisfaction through sentiment analysis. And the data source used is social media, aka Facebook, or customer reviews left by customers of a specific brand. And the outcome that we'll be working towards is to enhance the feedback loop for the consumer and improve the features of the product based on what the consumers express um, in their reviews and in their text response. Right. In another case, topic modeling can be used to identify key topics that drive consumer interest. You can use forums, blogs, and customer support tickets. This can be helpful in refining marketing content and making sure that the campaigns are targeted more efficiently, more effectively, and customized to the needs of individual consumer segments. Finally, entity recognition for competitive analysis. Entity recognition can be used to track the competitor mentions and market trends from various news articles and press releases. And this can help inform the strategy of a brand to react based on based on the consumer insights about the competitor brands and their marketing tactics. Now let us go to the specific case study that I'll be talking about today. We are trying to identify customer segments who are likely to switch opinions using survey response data and an RPOC package called POLAR, which stands for Polytomous Ordinal Logistic Regression. So we have tried to leverage Likert scale surveys where consumers responded to survey questions on a scale of 1 to 5 for predicting customer insights. The goal is to identify the customer segments who are likely to change their opinion from, let's say, neutral opinion about a brand to positive opinion, or from negative opinion to a neutral opinion. So how can we identify such customer segments and inform our marketing such that we can reach these specific buckets of consumers and try to optimize the marketing's intended goal? The method that was used is a Polytomous Ordinal Logistic Regression model that I was talking about to calculate the odds of opinion shift at a consumer level using survey response data that was recorded on a Likert scale, meaning a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is the worst and 5 is the best. In order to collect data, a survey was given to the consumers, and the survey was focused on customer satisfaction and their sentiment toward the brand, where their responses when they're scaled from 1 to 5, where 1 they strongly disagree or 5 they strongly agree. And in this example, 7 to 8,000 responses were collected on a survey which were fielded to Facebook users on Facebook. The data pre-processing stage, the responses were categorized into buckets. So users who responded 1 or 2 to the questions as their answers were categorized as having negative perception on those questions. Users who responded with a 3 were categorized as neutral, and users who picked a 4 or a 5 were categorized as positive. Now, as I was talking about here, the goal of doing this analysis is to identify buckets of consumers whose opinion can be moved from the 1 to negative bucket to the neutral bucket number 3, or to move customers who are in the neutral bucket, which is number 3, to the positive bucket, which is 4, 5. So who are these consumers who can be swayed, or who are these swayable audiences that we can identify from our analysis, right? As a preparation, the data had to be clean. You had to handle the missing values and any inconsistencies that we discovered in the data set. So for instance, this is an example survey response on a Likert scale from 1 to 5, and you'll notice the red shades basically are the 1 and 2s, which is the worst end of the spectrum where the opinion is negative. The neutral responses have been coded as 3, which is no color background, and the light green and dark green are the 4 and 5, which is the positive segment in this specific scenario. So this slide is for illustrative purposes to try to show how the opinions of consumer response ranges from a scale of 1 to 5. The modeling itself was done using an R package called POLAR, which stands for Polytomous Ordinal Logistic Regression, which estimates the probability that an individual consumer, what are the odds of that consumer to shift their opinion from one bucket to the another. And as predictors, the variables that the model uses are demographic data, any purchase history if available, and the survey response themselves. So this can be used to calculate the odds ratio to measure the impact of the predictors. And the predictors, which are statistically significant, can then be utilized to segment the customer base and do an effective targeting using that learning, right? And a second part of this analysis included doing topic modeling. Topic modeling is nothing but trying to surface consistent themes from the consumer response. And for this purpose, we relied on the open-ended response from the users to those questions which had an option to provide open-ended response, right? So for example, the first step that is shown here on this slide is related to data collection. You see that there is an array of responses which has the text entered by the consumer. For example, I had a great experience with the customer service. The product quality is subpar and needs improvement. Delivery was quick and hassle-free. So for a quick example, if you were to split this into topics, the first response could be categorized as the customer service topic, the second one around product quality, and the third one around delivery speed, right? So that's how we can scale this. And as a part of the text pre-processing stage, you see some sample code which can be used to tokenize the responses and break them down into individual words, remove any punctuation marks, etc., to start doing the topic modeling. The second step in the topic modeling is to build a dictionary and a corpus, and then to apply the LDA to the data that we are analyzing. And you'd notice that there are sample codes on this slide that show how to build the dictionary and corpus first, and then subsequently how do you apply LDA. Finally, we interpret the topics and assign the topics to the users, right? So you notice that there is the interpretation of the topics themselves, which is the first section of the code right here. And here what we are doing is we are trying to identify those topics that I was talking about, right? So for example, one topic could be customer service, the other could be product quality, the third could be the delivery speed itself, right? And finally, you'll notice that the code sample displayed here helps assign a score to the users based on the topics to which they have been mapped, right? So these topics are then assigned to the users and they are scored in the sample code shown here. Finally, once we do all this, we have done two things, right? We use the polar model to identify the significant predictors of determining which customers or which customer segments have the odds of switching their opinion. And secondly, also identifying what are the different topics in which these customer open-ended responses can be categorized. And this can be effectively used to create very intelligent customer segments, right? So for example, let us say that product satisfaction was a significant predictor, which can highly influence their shift, the likelihood of a consumer to shift their opinion to more positive opinion. Or demographics or their past purchase history could have played a crucial role. And the odds ratio gives us a very clear mathematical measure of impact on the opinion shifts and informs the segmentation exercise. The key insights uncovered here is that the identification of specific customer segments who are responsive to the brand, and how can we take these customer segments who are more likely to be more responsive in a favorable manner to our brand and tailor our marketing strategy to enhance their satisfaction and their loyalty. So for instance, customers who are more on the neutral spectrum or on the negative spectrum, but can be swayed from the negative spectrum to the neutral spectrum or the neutral spectrum to the more positive spectrum, probably deserve to have more frequency of ads and more outreaches, as opposed to someone who's already extremely negative and is unlikely to change their mind, or who is already extremely positive, so on the both extreme ends of the spectrum, so to speak. And this can help make sure that the marketing investment is directed at the customer segments where we have the possibility of moving the needle the most. And this can help design a targeted intervention so that we can enable the customer engagement for a specific brand in a more efficient manner, right? We showed here from this analysis that the polar model effectively identifies likely opinion shifts. We can get actionable insights from the analysis, which can help us with targeted marketing and improving the perception of the brand by trying to address the less satisfied or unsatisfied pockets of the customer base. And this also helps us build the customer relationship and foster more positive relationships with our customers. Now, some of the challenges that we encounter frequently in implementing natural language processing, as well as in this exercise, were the data quality issues that we face, right? So, for instance, handling noisy and unstructured data in the scenarios as this one where the survey was fielded internationally on Facebook, translating user comments for the non-English speakers accurately to English so that one comment which is in non-English, so let's say in Portuguese or in Spanish, can be translated to English in an efficient manner and in an accurate manner so that all these comments that are in non-English as well as English can be compared with each other using the same benchmark. So it's extremely important to ensure the accuracy of translation. And the assistance from language translation software as well as human reviewers was taken to make sure that the translation is happening properly, that both the questions that were fielded were translated correctly for the audience to understand, as well as the survey instrument itself was intelligent enough to field the survey in the language that the audience is most likely to speak. So, for instance, many users on Facebook have their default language setting, which is English, but they do not understand English. So, a unique methodology, in house methodology, was used to predict based on the activity of these users on Facebook and their interaction with other content across Facebook to predict what is the language that they're most likely to understand the survey in. And then the translated version of the survey was surfaced to these consumers. And when this was done, then the survey completion rates went up significantly. And the quality of the data, the open-ended as well as the Likert scale data, improved significantly. The model accuracy, it's important to ensure that the model accuracy is taken into account, that the model is reliable and is making valid predictions, and incorporating the natural language processing into existing workflow can be challenging. So figuring out how to do that at scale is also important. And as I was talking about, data cleaning, data quality is important, validating the model itself. How can we enhance the model accuracy? I did give a few examples of the steps that were taken to improve the input data itself that is going into the model, which is surfacing the survey in the right language to the right user. And what are the best practices that can help us effectively integrate natural language processing into our workflow? It's also important while doing NLP exercise in this scenario. Now, practical application and results, improving channel allocation. So the learnings from an exercise of the case study that I was talking about can be utilized to optimize the spend allocated across marketing channels, which in turn can lead to improved return on investment by running very informed, very targeted campaigns. The audiences can be segmented efficiently by better understanding the motivations of the consumer segments using the text data mining, and the right targeting of the customer segments can be done using the proper segmentation. We talked about the practical steps to leverage natural language processing in marketing, and we also talked about what are the considerations for successfully implementing NLP in a practical setting. And we have to keep an eye on the emerging future trends, emerging opportunities in natural language processing for marketing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity to be given the opportunity to talk to you about an example of how natural language processing can be used to enhance marketing campaigns in a practical world.